Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Is it really happy? Yes, it is happy. We're alive, we're breathing. Sometimes you still got to keep the positive vibes only. That's my slogan, and that's what I say, and that's what I do. Uh, and there's so much going on in the world today. It seems like it's been eons since I've seen my partner in crime over here, Kevin. And I'm going to ask him. I know he's been busy on some other stuff. If he can talk about that, we'll ask him about the Afghanistan stuff. But the bottom line is, everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles, and I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host Kevin Branzetti and Chuck Richards. He might pop in, but we also may have some Real Talk hosts chime in with us tonight, and just have a real talk moment because we have some stuff to talk about. We have to talk about Haiti. We have to talk about Gabby Pito and her fiance Brian Laundrie. Uh, the white woman syndrome. Kevin said that a lot of times before. How if it's a white woman, it makes front news. If it's a person of color, it doesn't make anything. We'll discuss that more in detail tonight. We're also going to talk about missing people of color. Like the stats is out, and Kevin is stats. He'll tell you about that. I think right now, I think 35,000 from the FBI database have shown that it's 35,000 white women and men, 15,000 people of color. We don't hear about them. I think Asian and Latin and Asian and others are like 2,000 or something like that, but they don't even make the news. Why is that? These are things that we're going to have to discuss tonight, and we're going to discuss. Also, we have some other police stuff that I want to talk about. Um, Also, too, I think Kevin and I we're going to talk about what's happening in Oregon. Teacher goes to school. He wants to do away with Black Lives Matter sign. He wants to do away with um, uh, gay signs, and he goes to school in protest of the vaccine, and he wears a Rosa Parks face. Really? That's what we doing now? Like, we got to pick our poison. Hey, Stefania, what's going on? Hey, D, what's going on? We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So, everybody, this is Real Talk Corner. Let me just find out how my man uh, Branzetti, Kevin, is doing. Kevin, how are you doing, brother, since the last time I've seen you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a long time.
Yeah, man, definitely it's been a
Glad to
long
be back
time.
with you, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, shout out to Chuck Richards. He might pop in. He has some other prior arrangements, but he will keep his head in if he can. Um, Kev, first and foremost, let me just everybody. This is Real Talk Chronicles. If you're watching it, share it. You can do a watch party. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to it, please. We appreciate that. There's so much to discuss. You have a topic. If anybody wants to join in, you're more than welcome to join in. We don't have a problem with that. This is one thing about Real Talk. It's organic. It's straight to the point. If you're sensitive, this might not be the podcast for you, because we say what we say. We don't say it to be disrespectful, but the bottom line is it's real. We're going to talk about that. Has the Biden administration dropped the ball on this? Absolutely. The one thing I will say this before we even get into this Haitian thing, the Haitian situation, is that I I voted for the Biden administration, but I have no problems calling them out. There are other Republicans that will never call out Trump on the shit that he did. That's that's the hypocrisy nonsense. Listen, I call a spade a spade. If people of color are doing something wrong, I'm gonna say it. But the bottom line is, don't just say people of color are doing things wrong and you ain't talking about anybody else. So I say all that to say there's so much to talk about. Please chime in, talk to us. I see the comments. Uh, D, if you can share from I think a watch party. If you go to since you're watching it from my page, I think right now you can share it. Like click under, and I think it says it's a watch party. It might go as a watch party, or you can share it. That might be a way you can do it. Uh, Stefania said, yes, they were discussing the syndrome of Channel 5. Absolutely. And D, I'm so glad she and my sister's in the building tonight because we had a post. I put this up there and she brought something to the table. I know you're going to watch from the sidelines, D, but I'm going to definitely mention you and give you props on this. And we're going to talk about that. So first and foremost, let's get into it. Let's talk about the Haitian situation right now. It is a travesty of what's happening in Haiti. Afghanistan, all over the world, Mexico and borders and stuff like that. But I want to send, I'm going to let Kevin send some of the posts. Let's show some video so we can have a little topic to discuss about the Haitian situation right now. You got the borders, sheriffs or whomever they are, using a whip to stop somebody from coming across. Listen, Kevin, did you see that?
I've watched parts of it. I got the video up now.
All right, we're going to go to the video, everybody. What's up, everybody? Thank you for chiming in, talking. Listen, we're talking right now. We're talking about Haiti and the situation with the border, and we'll definitely open up that conversation about the Biden administration has dropped the ball. Also, to April Ryan, she did a thing. I think I said Kevin that too. I would love to show that 1 minute clip on how she questioned the press secretary on the situation. You ready, Kev? I see it. I got it. So everybody, we're going to watch this video right now and discuss it after.
Was the one you'd sent me, Bill. There's got to be better ones than that.
Yeah, I know you'll do your stats thing as we're conversing with people, and hopefully the people will chime in more and discuss this with us. But right now, this is Kevin. From what you're seeing, tell me what you're feeling about this. I mean, me personally, this is unacceptable. What's
completely unacceptable, Bill. I mean, and it's mind blowing that this administration is doing this.
Right.
This is supposed to be a pro-immigrant administration, and now I've watched them treat Afghan as I don't know what, as we didn't help them get out of their country, knowing that they're going to be slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, know if there's a country on par with Haiti in the last decade that has had as many tragedies as they've had.
Right.
So
right.
A group of refugees fled there, and we're throwing them out. And I don't understand, the administration. I'll say this: if this was the previous president still in office, or if it was a different Republican, he'd be shredded far more in the media. I think he's getting a light punch.
And what's so funny? I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that. He definitely would be shredded in the public. I think my personal feeling, and like I said, I could just only say in my personal feelings from what he spewed out, I think he would have co-signed with that situation. That's my personal feeling. I don't know what anybody else feels. You can tell me what you're feeling, what you're not feeling. That's fine. But the bottom line is, I think he has just lit the fire for that kind of the act. Now, to see it from like you said, a progressive Democratic standpoint, where he talked about everything against what 45 talked about doing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
yeah. So for him to co-sign this shit and not even come out and speak yet is disgusting to me. And that's why I said I voted for the gentleman and Kamala. I need y'all to speak up. Yo, come from behind the press secretary. Come out and say what it is, man, because right now this is disgusting to see people and what we're seeing is we're seeing people of color. You know what I'm saying? Even though the Afghanistans are people of color, the Mexicans are people of color, but they don't look. Some of them don't have the dark skin. So certain things are getting passed. I mean, the situation in Afghanistan. Kevin, please, if you can, for a few minutes, while I read some of the comments before I come back, you could talk about what you were even trying to do with Afghanistan. If that's something you could divulge. If not, then
yeah,
it's cool.
I can talk some stuff, but okay. I'm definitely firsthand knowledge of there. Look, you know, your opinions on or thoughts on Afghanistan. Do we help? Do we not? I kind of just go back to a simple rule that we learned as kids. You broke it, you bought it.
Right.
We were in Afghanistan for 20 years. You can disagree whether we should have been there or not. You could disagree how it was handled. I don't care about any of that. But once we broke it, we own it. You then can't abandon people. And we abandoned tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, who were just going to be slaughtered. There's no ifs or buts. They're going to be murdered by the Taliban. The Taliban has not changed. The Taliban is not a Taliban 2.0 where they're gentler and calmer. They are who they are. That part will not change.
Right.
How we can walk away and abandon people who for a decade, and some for 2 decades, worked side by side with us, it is mind-blowing to me.
Right.
Inexcusable. And then we, on top of it, we see what we're doing to Haitian refugees. I'm completely baffled at this administration. Like I said earlier, they're a pro-immigrant administration. You know, we can go pull video after video of him ripping Trump apart for the last several years over immigration policy. And I got to be honest with you, this guy's proven to be worse, which is.
Listen, at this stage of the game, I can't even dispute you on that. I think I sent you something with April Ryan. If you can pull that up, while I just shout out all our fans and our listeners and the audience. Shout out to everybody that's watching us. Listen.
That first one was April Ryan. So there must be a second.
I think there might be a second one that I sent you where she's actually questioning the press secretary. I'm just going to shout out to people while you look for that if you can. I see you, Lamont. What's going on, brother? Vera, I love the last name Forster. Absolutely. Stefania, you said Texas wants to go back to slavery so badly. Whips in 2021. Since when are migrants treated this way? Absolutely. Or should have shouted out my sister D. Ramirez in the building. I mean Rodriguez. D. Rodriguez. I apologize. I see you, Kimberly. What's going on, Cheryl? Exactly. It's also disturbing on many levels. Amirio, thank you, Bill. We appreciate the conversation. Thank you, sis. Mark is in the building. My man Stats. Peace to the fellas. What's up? Exactly. Stefania said, America will never forgive Haiti for obtaining our freedom. Paul Martinez, my brother. How are you, P? Pep, what's going on? Stefania also says, and that damn press secretary, all she says is that she needs more context. What does that even mean? Absolutely. With that being said, also, I see you, Kim, in the building, Kim Million. The one thing that I would love for any Republican that's listening, please hold the Republican Party just as accountable as I can hold the Democratic Party, or any of us can hold our Democratic parties. The bottom line is, let's be fair and truthful. The bottom line is, all we want is something safe, and we want people treated fairly. Is that fair, right, Kev? That's
100% fair, Bill.
That's it, right?
I will call out anybody. I, for the most part, don't like any of them.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what's so funny, Kev? We'll discuss this too, segueing off of this thing. I'm really losing a lot of faith in government. You know, a lot of faith in a lot. Go ahead, Kev.
So I got the video, I believe, which you're looking for.
Okay. I just want to finish reading. Melvin Ross is in the building. My brother Teresa Shorts is in the building. I love the fact that the people that are here, because I know you could all converse with us. Muriel says, I sat with my people in 2017 who migrated from Brazil to Mexico. They are looking for work and better opportunities. America needs to stop destabilizing Haiti along with oligarchs who have crippled the economy with 30 years of monoliths.
Monopoly.
Yeah, monopolies. Yeah, absolutely. Yo, Miriam, you're
those glasses.
Yeah, exactly. Yo,
you got the 2G glasses.
Oh my God, Jesus. Yo, exactly. Mario, you're more than welcome to join in. Anybody, if you're more than welcome to join in on this conversation. Like I said, tonight, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my host, Kevin Branzetti. And whomever joins in with us is this beautiful thing, the panel. But the bottom line is we're going around the carpet tonight. And if you're sensitive tonight, this is not the podcast that you really want to hear, because I have some shit that I want to say about a lot of things. We're going to talk about Haiti. We're going to talk about the Gabby, is it proper pronunciation of her name? Potato? Is that, yeah.
Sure.
It's tomato, exactly. We're going to talk about missing blacks in America. We're going to talk about some police stuff that's going on. We're going to talk about Oregon, and maybe that'll take us to the end of the show. But the thing is, we're going to talk about it. Real talk. This is the show, the podcast that talks about the things that some people are scared to converse about. So, what's up, Reese? First time tuning in. Glad you're here. A.D. Lee, what's going on? Lamont, he signed laws for trans. Okay, he signed laws for Asian and Pacific Islanders. Okay, and has totally pushed aside the black agenda. Absolutely. Linda Shorts is in the building. What's going on, Linda? Teresa Shorts. I got the sisters in the building. It's good to see you. We're gonna play this clip. We want you to all chime in and listen to this, and then give me your feedback after this. You ready, Kev?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
All right. Yes, everybody. This is Real Talk
Chronicles. Make sure that the audio goes. But
this is Real Talk Chronicles.
Everybody at the moment, with over Haiti, with over Afghanistan, call your local congressman, call your senator's office. I am telling you, it makes a difference, especially if your local is a Democrat as well. Because if you have Democrats pushing the Democrat president, it means something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been working with others on a campaign to push for Afghanistan, and believe me, we've gotten dozens and dozens of Democrat congressmen to sign on and write letters to Biden to change some things.
Good. I appreciate it. Let me ask you a question before we go to the video. Is your administration and whomever you're working with, are they going to try to do anything for Haiti? Can they do anything for Haiti?
Yeah, I mean, we can. It's the same principle. This is why I'm saying it here. You gotta call. I'm telling you, one call means nothing. 100 calls to your local congressperson means something. Mm-hmm. Every time they get a call, they look at it as, for every call they get, they figure it's at least 100 angry people.
Right.
Not everybody calls, or it's 1,000. Like, they each have a formula in their head. So they get dozens and dozens and dozens of calls, and if it turns into hundreds, it matters, because that's all votes in their mind. I don't care where they stand politically. You just got to do it. And then after you call, you post it in your Facebook group, your Instagram group, your Twitter group, whatever it is, to your friends, and have them call. These numbers are there. The emails are there. They have answered every one of my emails.
Let me ask you a question, Kevin. Can you, before we get out of here tonight, can you put that number up for people to call if you have one?
I'll look. There's going to be I know there's a site where it'll list everything. You just put your zip code in and your numbers will pop up. I'll find it and I will post it.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Because so let's go to this video. Everybody, shout out. I appreciate you. This is a topic that's bothering a lot of us, and it's really disgusting. It's upsetting on so many fronts. We're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about this Haitian situation, poor Haiti. They just the stuff that they're going through, and then, like I said, to try to come over here, and then you have officer. Let's be clear. I haven't seen many, but I'm saying this officer is using a whip like this is some real slavery Kunta Kinte shit. Was totally unacceptable. So that really has got me hot. So I'm going to play this video. Go ahead, Kev. Let's see.
A follow-up question on Haiti. There are photographs and reports of border agents on horseback using what appear to be whips on Haitian migrants. Does the administration view that as an appropriate tactic? Can you speak to that? There are people who are upset.
Yeah, understandably so. I've seen some of the footage. I don't have the full context. I can't imagine what context would make that appropriate, but I don't have additional details. And certainly, I don't have additional context, April. I don't think anyone seeing that footage would think it was acceptable or appropriate.
I want to follow up on the question about Haitians and specifically these photos that are surfacing on Border Patrol agents seemingly using whips. I know you said that there's no context that it would be seen as inappropriate. So the question really is, why would this be happening under the Biden administration? Is this going to stop? What would I wonder sort of what are going to be the consequences if what we're seeing is what we're seeing?
I mean, Yamiche, it's all good questions. We just saw this footage. It's horrible to watch. I just have to get more information on it. Again, April, I don't have more information on it. I've also seen the video. I can't imagine what the scenario is where that would be appropriate. I'm certainly not suggesting that, but we've just seen the footage earlier this morning.
On the photo, I know you said that you're still assessing it, but just to add, if this is what we see, is it the president's stance or the White House's stance that whoever these border agents are using what seems to be whips on migrants, that they would be fired or at least never be able to do that again?
Of course, they should never be able to do it again. I don't know what the circumstances would be. It's obviously horrific, the footage. I don't have any more information on it, so let me venture to do that, and we'll see if there's more to convey. Karen, go ahead. I think, April, I absolutely understand your question. I think I've been very clear about how horrific the footage is. I don't have more information. As a U.S. official, I have a responsibility to get more context and information.
Yo, you know what's so funny? I think I might have sent you one more, Kev. If you have it, you don't. If it's cool. I don't know if I sent it to you. I might have. Listen, the bottom line with old girl, that is what you call politically correct answer. The dance. I have to go. I have to go get more information. Then why the hell did you come to the podium? Damn it! You know what I'm saying? Because you know what the hell was going to be asked.
Her job is public information.
Exactly.
Like, this is not like a surprise question. We just, we hit her with the video and said, hey, what do you think? She said she saw it in the morning. Her job is public information, and she's speaking to the press. Stop it.
Yeah, exactly. This is what you do. You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody asking us as law enforcement officers about what's the crime, and we talk about we don't know. What? Like, yo, listen, everybody, please. Knock it, she needs to knock it off. This is Real Talk Chronicles. If you have questions, comments, please write them in, chime in. Listen, we want to discuss this. What's your feelings on this situation? Like I said, tonight, the show is action-packed right now. We going from topic to topic to topic. We're not stopping. We just want your input. We want to know what you're feeling because you are a voice. You need to be heard. The bottom line is, Kevin and I had no problems. Kevin and I don't have a problem coming out in the front and saying what we say and feeling what we feel. A lot of times, please, eventually, we might have to just strictly go to YouTube because sometimes when I put things up, Facebook kicks me out. And I have no problem saying that right now either. It is what it is. Sometimes, listen, when you take the front, as in a la Kevin and myself, sometimes, the darts get thrown at you, man, and just you could be Neo in the Matrix, or you can be Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and run and hide. I'm not built for that. So the bottom line is, all we're trying to do is give you informative information, thought-provocative information that you can converse with us and others about. And right now, I'm all about fairness, right and wrong. I call a spade a spade. Kevin, let me ask you a question while people keep chiming in and coming in, talking, and conversing with us. What do you think should happen to that law enforcement officer?
Well, so I've watched a little bit of it again, not much. I don't know if he's actually ever whipped anybody with it. He's clearly swinging it. Right. I'd also like to understand, like, that's a whip to whip the horse to get the horse to move.
Exactly.
That's what that thing is for. So I would want to see more of the videos than that. I don't believe he hit a person with it. Is he doing it in a threatening manner? Okay. What is his task? Right. These are frontline cops, so they're told to do something. Right.
But okay, I get that. But he's the only one. He's the only one. What's up, Chris?
We don't know if he's the only one.
Well, he's the only one we've seen.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, so there's clearly more officers there. We don't know what their training, their tactics, they're told, their assignment. It seems like their job is to push people back into the water, right? So they can't come across.
Let me ask you a question, Kevin. You and I work together.
Yeah.
Respect each other's craft. When did we don't know about Border Patrol. We don't know what happens over in Texas and other places and cities, states, and other agencies. What's up, Blake? What's up, Chris? Hey, Cheryl, hold on, Cheryl. Cheryl said, I think he has actually hit people with it. Okay. We can watch it again.
Cheryl, find me the link where that one didn't show him hitting.
Stefani said the whole world is literally going to shit, exactly, for natural disasters to political instability to crime and everything in between. Absolutely. My thing is, from a law enforcement standpoint, Kev, and this is just a conversation. When do we start carrying whips? I don't know if that's something that happens in Texas.
We carry it's not. These are Border Patrol agents who are using it on their horse. So I know nothing about using it. I don't ride a horse. I've never ridden a horse in the conduct of my job. But that's what the thing is used for. It's to hit the horse. No different than they do in a horse race, right? They have that stick whip to hit the horse. That's what that thing is for.
Right.
So him swinging it in the air, he hits his horse, he swings it. Definitely threatening, but I don't know if he's hit anybody with it.
So let me ask you a question. And I'm just I'm playing devil's advocate with you, like I said, because I can only ask you. Muriel said they did. If you look close, Cheryl said, Kev, that's just my opinion. I know you're reading them too, so I'm just reading them out. Him using the whip as an intimidation factor, would that be equated to a law enforcement officer pulling out his gun and putting it towards somebody's head or pointing at them unnecessarily?
I think it's more like your baton.
Okay, because it's not
lethal.
Because it's not lethal.
Yeah, I think it's closer to your baton, your ass.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm just trying to find out. I'm trying to find out your thought process. I mean, because to me, to me, it's totally unacceptable. I understand raising a baton to somebody's to act like you're going to hit. So let me ask you a question. Raising a baton, acting like you're going to hit somebody and not hitting them in lieu of somebody using a whip and snapping the whip, maybe hit. And we don't know if he hit it. We'll have to watch it again to see. I mean, we can.
I'm gonna really go with he didn't. And here's my reasoning behind it. Besides that, I don't see it. I am a firm believer if that video existed of him actually hitting the person, we would have every news channel would have it in slow-mo with circles around it showing that it hit.
I'm not disputing you. Can we play that video again if it's not?
As we're talking, Bill, I'm running bunches of them and I'm trying to find what I think might be
something close to it or not close to it. Yeah. Well, anyone you want to play, just for the audience and our own edification, the bottom line is we're just trying to find out now, we're going into legalities. Is using the whip or acting like you're going to use the whip, like there's a whole different thing, because the bottom line is, snapping the whip and hitting the dirt to make the person go back, because the bottom line is the police department uses horses to sweep crowds in New York City or all over the world. They have a horse patrol, and we can have anybody that's on mounted. They can come in and give us the whole analogy if my man is listening, hold on. Let me read some comments. Stefania said, if we can bring 95,000 Afghanistans and give them each 2,000, we can make room for Haitian migrants. Thank you.
I agree, but we didn't bring 95,000 Afghans. I wish we did.
Okay, Stefania, I don't know if you want to respond back to that.
But I'm with you, Stefania. We should bring both. You know, I don't know how those Haitians made it to our border, but let's think about what they had to go through to get out of Haiti, right? National disaster, assassinations, floods, all of these things occurred there. They're on an island. They somehow made it to Mexico, up the border to the U.S. Again, this administration talked about for years, pro-immigrant, let them in from the South. Why no to them? It is mind-blowing. Let them in.
Right. Blake says, no, sir. The whip has no part in the control of a horse. We have mounted here in New York City, and we have no mounted officers equipped with them to do exactly. I agree with that.
But that's New York City. That's New York City mounted. Clearly, it's part of their repertoire, right? Like it's in their stuff. So you can't go with what New York City does is what a border agent, right? They're given these things for a reason. And there's a complete difference on what the terrain they're riding on than what we are. You know, you got to find me the rule book on how they're trained and what they're doing. Well, I don't see anything in here saying that, like, he was, because if it wasn't part of their uniform, that would be part of the story, that this guy took a whip out on his own.
Well, the bottom line is, like I said, we can play the video again. What's up, Bernard? I see you, my brother. Hey, cousin Kendrick, congratulations on little cuz coming in the building. Jace, that's his name. I'm just trying to read everything. Lamont said, American is bad with France. During the Haitian Revolution, when they kicked the French ass, America never forgave Haiti. That could have a lot of validity also too. And Lamont said, which is why Haiti never got the proper funds and help to rebuild their infrastructure and land. What do you think about that, Kev?
I don't look. Mistakes we made with Haiti years ago, I don't hold office today. I can't go that's Biden's reason, but I have no reason. I mean, look, I'm a Republican, you're a Democrat. We both agree, let him in. Like, this is kind of an obvious one. They're refugees. You know, we spend lots of money and lots of time doing lots of things in this country, but when people are in need is when we're supposed to be there.
Right.
And this is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Shout out Marcus Jackson. Maurice Jackson. Hey, Eunice Collins. I'm going to say Mother Collins because you deserve that title from me. This is something crazy that's going on. I can't wrap my fingers around it. I really want to. I know the president is at the UN. You and I have worked at so many times where I've even had the privilege of guarding a president at one time. So I know things. But listen, this is the elephant in the room, dog. Step away and talk about this. There's no way in hell you should not be addressing this issue in regards to Haiti. You know, you pulled out of Afghanistan because Trump gave you a projected date. You stood by it. You know, we also had shout out to my cousin Mark Forster that came in and gave us a nice breakdown of the historical situation with Afghanistan. And, you know, we all had a great conversation that night. Remember, Kev? And it's just right now, but we're not seeing what, like, I think it's just the fact that to see the Haitians under the bridge, like, do we have a picture of that? Can you pull it?
I mean, I got lots of them.
I mean, you might just start posting a few things, anything that you want to post right now, so we can just keep people abreast of what we're seeing. Lamont also said it's not an individual reason. The president is one man who is being controlled by others we do not see. Absolutely, I agree with that. Stefani said the white majority is dwindling. They will do everything to stagnate the number of blacks here. Eunice said, let's not forget that Obama sent them back before. Yeah, listen, Stefani also said America doesn't want 14,000 black immigrants. Is that really the elephant in the room? Coming in with us tonight, we got Dr. Marilyn Corder in here tonight with us. And tonight, she's not coming in as she's always Dr. Marilyn Corder, but tonight she's Marilyn Corder talking about other real talk stuff. What's up, Doc? How are you?
Hey, I'm sorry you can't see me. I'm in my car and it's nighttime, but can you hear me?
That's all right, Doc. Right now, we're just talking about, I mean, we're not even, we want you for I want my Maryland cousin on this one right now, Dr. Maryland cousin. We're talking about Haiti. Did you see the video clip of?
Oh my God.
What was your take on that?
Oh my God. You know, I was just telling Fred, I'm like, are we back in 2 centuries ago? And then I said, you know, it kind of also reminded me of, you know, when folks took over the country from the real Americans. I just think it was inhumane. I'm like, am I seeing? Is this a movie? They're humans. Come on. It's like, okay. My take is just, this is just so sad and so inhumane. And you know, I've been to Haiti. As a matter of fact, I did one of my radio shows from Port-au-Prince. The most humble, they're survivors. I'm gonna tell you, Haiti didn't allow America to do a whole lot of stuff, and you know, in different places, Spain and France. So they are survivors. That's where real survivorship started for people of color. But anyway, it was unbelievable. I'll just say it was horrible.
Right, so, right.
That's
one of the callers had the listeners said, shout out to my man Lamont. He also, and I just want your thoughts on this, Doc. He said, American is in bed with France during the Haitian Revolution when they kicked the French ass. America never forgave Haiti. What do you think about that? If you know anything about that, if not, we can
that's right. You know what? And Haiti took them down with bow and arrow and rocks and sticks. And when we went there, we had the history of Haiti, you know, given to us. I call it the real history of Haiti. And you're right, they kick butt with limited resources. And so, I mean, and all along, you know, as we know, so many people over the years, politicians have dogged Haiti and talked about them, and they're not this. And of course, the recent former president, he said it was a shithole. And I was broadcasting live the 2 days after he said that. And I was apologizing like big time. I didn't say that. Most of us don't feel like that.
Right. Yeah.
So and I said, I'm broadcasting from what somebody said was the asshole. But I'm going to tell you, this is they're educated, they're humble, they're hardworking, and people are just jealous. If you really want to learn survivorship, if you really want to know, you know, what it takes to true grit, talk to a Haitian. Those are some true grit, surviving, determined, proud folks.
Right. Hey, cuz, let me ask you a question. I love that. I can hit you with the cuz tonight. Let me ask you a question. We were discussing so many different things in regards to the Haitian situation. Do you feel that the Biden administration dropped the ball? April Ryan, is it Ryan? April Ryan, she got into the press secretary's ass, and she just kept giving a whole lot of, I don't know, let me get back to you. And Kevin and I first agreed that first and foremost, you're the press secretary. That's your job to have answers. What are you doing there if you're not going to answer the question. And so the fact that she denounced, of course, she denounced the situation with the officer with the whip and what else she was going to do. But do you feel the Biden administration is dropping the ball on the situation because Afghanistan is still in his rearview mirror and Mexico? Go ahead. Give me your thoughts, cuz.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like things are just coming at them, and you can't hit them back fast enough. The balls are coming, and so this one was really a drop the ball because it's smack in your face, and you can't bat it back because you don't have anything to bat it back with in terms of justification. Sure, folks know, and maybe they just thought it was going to be, that people were going to say, okay, well, enough is enough, Haitians, and go back to where you are. But no, and of course we know the former president, that's their style. So I'm like, wait a minute, who is in office? Haven't seen this. Who is in office? So it's I think not only the ball got dropped, I think that this was so heart wrenching that this is one of the takeaways or one of the memories that of events that will remain in mind on the Biden administration.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, Kevin and I, we discussed this, and Kevin, you can chime in whenever you want to about the fact that, like I said, I voted for this administration. Absolutely. I'm proud that I did it, but I have no problems calling a spade on this one. And like I said, unlike our Republican counterparts, except maybe Kevin and some others, like, call a spade. Now, if the Trump administration was in this office, Kevin said, yeah, he would definitely got slaughtered crucified. But the bottom line is, I think the verbiage out of his mouth would have been, "Oh, they shouldn't be coming over here." He would have made an acceptable speech with that.
Right.
The Biden administration is not making an acceptable speech with it. They just ain't saying shit. You know what I'm saying? Which Kev, chime in. Kev, you're on mute. Chime in, Kevin. Tell me your thoughts.
They're in charge, right?
Yeah,
like there's there's completely no excuse for this. I don't blame border agents. Border agents do what they're told, right? Keep them over there, and then we're throwing them out. Like, there's no, oh my God, we didn't realize this was happening statement out of Biden, and we're change this immediately and start bringing people over. They're still deporting them right now. They're throwing more on people.
It's like, see no evil, speak no evil, say no evil. They're like, see no evil, but evil was right there.
Yep. And I'm going to say this may actually make them worse than Trump. Which is hard, right? Like, that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but I don't know what's worse. This is just, I don't know. It's horrible, and I can't say it enough. Call your local congressman.
Let me ask both of you the question. I'm totally in agreement, and I might be in agreement with a lot of things. So let me not say that. But the bottom line is, like you said, because he's getting hit. He's getting a lot of balls thrown at him, and he's not able to hit them back. So Afghanistan, he got that. He inherited that from Trump. He acted on the date that Trump put forth, and he went through it. Like I said, we had our other cousin Mark on, and Mark was a major in the military, and he broke it down, and he kind of felt maybe when was the right time to come out of Afghanistan. We never know. But the bottom line is, I think, Kev, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he said it could have been done a little bit more differently. Did you and him kind of agreed on that, Kevin? Is that? Yeah. I don't want to misquote you on that. Yeah, right.
We can argue. I'll argue that all four presidents didn't know what they were doing in Afghanistan. But fine, we had it. We had people who worked with us, and we clearly could have done it differently. We could have left slower and said, got everybody out first. We were still stronger than the Taliban. We were never defeated.
Right.
On a battlefield. We could have held that property. and said, bring them. We will get everybody out until we're done. And then once we're done, we leave. And, during that time frame, would there have been some skirmishes? Sure. And some people would have gotten killed. I agree. But we've left now over 100,000 people to be slaughtered. We created genocide.
Right.
We're going to watch it unfold over the next months and years. I'm baffled with this. And I know the U.S. troops that were there were dying to be allowed out of Kabul airport to go and get people and bring them to safety. They're their friends. I've had the privilege these last few weeks of just being involved in some stuff. So I've been sitting with escapees from Afghanistan. I've been sitting with soldiers from there. I haven't been more proud of the American soldier than I was this last month to understand our soldiers fell in love with the people there, and they care about them, and they wanted them out, and they would have done anything to get them out, and some of them have, but our administration didn't let them, and it's mind-blowing to me. It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I just, like you said, Doc, he's getting thrown a lot of balls, curve sliders, changeups, and he's not hitting them. And the ones he's hitting, they're still getting caught as outs. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing being done right. Like, he's not hitting anything for base hits or home runs, doubles, triples, or anything. And like this situation, I want him to come on and say, I need this dude fired or something. I mean, Kevin says, something about in regards to he feels like this guy was something in lieu of with the whips. I disagree with that personally. I mean, I've never seen in modern civilization in today's society, from the mounted police, our other brother Junior from our former 2-8 brother, he agreed. Like, when are we seeing people or officers carry whips? You know what I'm saying? I mean, horseback riders carrying whips. So maybe that's his personal thing. Maybe nobody said anything to him. Who knows? And he's been able to get away with it. But then all of a sudden, he felt comfortable enough to throw a whip and use a whip. Even if it didn't hit him with a whip, he used the whip in interrogation to a fear factor. Shout out to everybody just chiming in. Sharon, Rich, appreciate you. I will read some of the comments. Kevin Grayson, what's up, brother? So, Doc, what do you think about that? Just the fact, what do you think should be done to this officer in regards to him using a whip? If you're still with me, you're on mute. If you're going to say something. So anybody, let me just read some comments. I think the Doc is with us, but she has us on mute right now. Also, Stefania said that the difference is with Trump, you knew what you were getting. He was an ass. With Biden, he's the devil you don't know, and everything is starting to unfold before our eyes. Good point. What do you think about that, Kevin?
Yeah, Bill, I have been asking this question for a month in lots of conversations, clearly outside of here. I can't grasp the why. Why did we say no to our Afghan partners? Why are we saying no to Haitian refugees? I don't know. Trump was anti-immigrant, so you knew the why. You can disagree with it, but you knew the why. I don't know what the why is here, and I don't know how to fight something where it just makes no sense.
Got you. Muriel said, our president was assassinated and he did nothing. We have an earthquake and he did nothing. He inherited it from G. Bush. Lamont said, I can't believe the presidents, I believe are handed an agenda before they take office. The horrible earthquake of Haiti of 13 or 14 years ago, when Hillary was Secretary of State, billions of dollars was released for Haiti. Nobody knew where the money went. Cheryl, that's unfortunate. Also, I think somebody said, Muriel said, he can't. The Clintons won't allow it. Everybody's thinking like the Clintons had something to do with this. Before we go on to another topic, the Gabby pedo situation. First and foremost, everybody, we on fire tonight. Real Talk is on fire tonight. Kevin, what do you think about the fact that they feel like the Clintons had something to do with that or say?
I don't get into any things like that, right? Like that starts to. I'm sorry, for me, starts to border on the conspiracy theory end, and I don't go in that direction.
Fair enough.
But I don't have an answer, so which is what will lead to lots of theories. Just a quick thing in the chat, I put in how you can contact your congressman and your senator. So you just got to click on it, put in your zip code, and there's your information for who's your person. And then just hit them up, email them, call them.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kev.
Sit around and scream. You can't scream enough. You can't get enough people to scream with this.
Shout out, well, I see you, Sharon. What's going on, sis? Thank you. We're going to try to have a great show. With your support, it always makes it better. Stefania said the only difference between Trump and Biden is the one is the devil that you knew. Absolutely. Eunice said that's right, Kevin. You might end up missing. So with that being said, everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti. Shout out to Chuck Richards, and I see my lovely wife, Malika Forster, in the background. And shout out to Dr. Corder. She probably will be chiming in, and anybody else of the Real Talk family. And all of you are welcome to join in. Just inbox me, text me, and I'll send you a link. If you have my number, you're more than welcome to always join. I know some of us have our hair tied up, or we're in a lounge where we're not ready to come in front of the camera, and I respect that, but I appreciate your input. If you can't come in, just stay with us and talk to us.
I my loungewear, like you just don't see that.
Listen, this is the new world order. This is what we do, and I love it, man. You might see me with my pajamas on one day too. It is what it is. So let's really deal with another elephant in the room. And shout out to D. Rodriguez. She didn't have any problems discussing this, and Malika did not either. And Kevin, you have mentioned this before. First and foremost, prayers and our condolences to the families of Gabby Petito. I think that's the proper name of her pronunciation of her last name. But there are so many topics we're going to show about this. Is that Gabby, the situation right there?
Gabby, and then this is gonna. I had to find stats, Bill.
Absolutely.
And missing person stats 2020.
Yes. So we're going to hold them stats. Let's show the Gabby situation. Kevin, do you have the one where the officers stopped them first?
Yeah, I'll find it.
Find that while I'll finish my monologue with this. So there are so many things to talk about with this situation. Shame on the fact that a life is lost. But then let's talk about the fact that Kevin has said this, Malika has said this, I've said this, D. Rodriguez said this in a post, that, and then also too, we have some stuff in regards to, is this the white women syndrome, that the fact that white women, they come up missing, the world is in an uproar, everybody's looking for them. People of color, they come up missing, nobody really cares. Kevin, if I know you can multitask, but can you elaborate on that?
I've been saying that since day one we got on the show. Yeah. There's two things that the media likes: white cop, black suspect, and pretty blonde girl,
right,
missing or murdered. We just had, it's all in the news today. The one kid pled guilty to the murder a year and change ago of the white girl from Bernard College, right? Okay. Like, there are lots of other pleas of murders that go on that don't make the front page. This one does. This thing, this is on the front page of every news agency in this country for what, a week? I feel terrible for her, and it's crystal clear to me what happened, and it didn't take them long to find the body. But she is by far, not the only one. She's not the only one this week.
Right.
She's a pretty blonde girl. Now that's not the police department. I want to also make that clear. This is not the police department that chooses these things. The press chooses these things. And when the press makes something very public, that puts pressure on people, politicians, who put pressure on the police department and make it a high priority. This is going backwards why I said call your congressman about Haiti. You got to put pressure on them. Well, that's what this is. I've done it and seen it for years. If an incident makes it to the news, there's pressure to get it solved and get it solved quickly, right? And then all of a sudden, there's, instead of normal one detective assigned a case, now there's 10. And,
right.
And now the FBI is asked to come in because everybody wants their publicity and make themselves look better. This ain't the police department that's causing this. This is the media. Right.
So, shout out to people chiming in. What's up, Dave? I see you, man. You ready to show this video, Kev? This clip?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to find the right one. Oh,
that's it. Yeah, there you go. Rewind that, man.
All right. Aftermath of an alleged altercation between Gabby Petito and her boyfriend. Police in Utah pulled the couple over last month after responding to calls of a domestic incident while they were road tripping across the country. Officers said Petito was crying and told them that she was struggling with her mental health. Petito described slapping her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, when she thought he was going to leave her in the city of Moab. Laundrie is now being named as a person of interest in her disappearance after he returned home to Florida without her.
When I think of him, it'd be bad if I said it on the TV. So let's just focus on Gabby right now.
The family's going through a very difficult time. As you can imagine, there are two families right now that are going through an immensely difficult time.
Well, at this point, Laundrie is not speaking to police under guidance from his attorney.
Our time is 6:34 and
there's lots of videos of this.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hopper.
Let me ask you a question, Kevin. A lot of people have asked me, so I'm going to ask you, and I've given my own personal feelings on this. Do you think the officers dropped the ball on this situation? What people, hold on, let me just say this. And people have said if there was a black couple, his ass would have been arrested on some domestic violence shit. The fact that she was crying and things of that magnitude. And I'm just telling you, like I said, I deal with the elephant in the room. I have real talk. Sometimes color will always play a factor in this, whether it needs to be or not be. The fact that people are saying that, they're asking me, they're saying if that was a white woman, if that was a black woman and she was crying, cops would have been looking for a collar, ready to arrest him. And the fact that they would have found out the situation where they're asking her situation, they see that she's crying, telling him to go someplace else to get rest for a night, to separate. The bottom line is, you understand that's a domestic violence situation. We understood when we were working that domestic violence, certain situations are absolute arrest. I don't know exactly, but when we're talking about physicalness, that's an absolute arrest, to my knowledge, if I can recall. So I'm just asking your personal opinion, of course. That's all we can give me, and that's what it is. People are saying the officers dropped the ball. What's your thoughts?
What's the crime? The only one who is potentially
it's domestic, Kevin. It's domestic.
Yeah, but they're having an argument, Bill.
Well, it was just wasn't it that somebody got hit?
She hit him.
It's still arrest. It's still arrest.
She admitted to slapping him in the face.
Yes.
Can you arrest for a slap?
It's harassment, Kevin.
Harassment's got to be in front of you.
Okay, well,
harassment's a violation. A misdemeanor assault, you can arrest, but harassment.
So let me ask you questions, Sergeant. When it comes to domestic violence, are the rules changed?
No.
So you're telling me with domestic violence, if you come to a scene, you and I come to the scene. Go ahead.
I'm asking.
Their
Their boyfriend, girlfriend.
It's still domestic.
Is it?
It's a relationship, right? I mean, are we going under the protocol of living together? Okay.
Yeah, it's not. And then we're going with New York rules. Where are we? Utah? Yeah, Utah. I don't know what Utah rules are for that, right? Because this is low. It's crystal clear. Like if she had a black eye, she's got knocked out tooth, to me, no question, right? I don't care what state they're in. He goes to jail. But what they're describing here is they're having a fight. He threatened to leave her. She slapped him. The only one with any potential for being arrested is her. Now, I don't see how he could be arrested for this part. And in New York standards, this is not domestic.
Okay. I think, didn't somebody come out and state, after I read the comments, shout out to everybody that's watching. Again, I'll give you all the shout outs when I get a chance. Give me a sec. Didn't somebody state that a woman come out and state that she saw him hit her?
There could be something along those lines in this. But during this car stop,
well, that was a witness. That was a witness, Kevin. I'm like, now don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to.
I got you.
I'm not trying to make the officers the bad guys, but what I'm trying to deal with the elephant that people put in the room is that there are certain police procedures carried more stringently when it's people of color than it is non-people of color. So with that being said, they had and I saw this. There was somebody that reported that was like, yo, he hit her up the road, like he told the cops. Like, so you have a witness that somebody he hit her. They get there, they see you have an officer pull her to the side. Unless we have the footage, unless like I said, unless you find it, you have an officer pull her to the side and state that, yo, he can see that she's going through some stuff due to this dude. Stay away, blah, blah, blah. But there isn't any arrest. There isn't any situation. And I think they were living together. So I'm just thinking about that.
That's a good question. If they were living together, yes, we're in domestic, but I still don't have a crime. With her slapping him, it's there. I don't know what Utah.
Excuse me.
We had definitive rules. This is not definitive. An injury, definitive, no question.
Okay, hold on, Kevin.
And I'm going to go to the other statement on here. If where was it?
Well, unless you're going to read it, let me know. I don't know what you want.
If there were people of color, he would have been arrested. I don't buy into that.
Well, I mean, you're
saying this is a racist officer, and there's nothing in this to show me the officer's racist. So I can't buy into that.
No, I'm not going to. I didn't say anything about racism. I just said that I think when we understand about policing, I think people police. I'm going to go out and say this. I do think people police due to the skin that they see. I really do feel that. It
absolutely does happen in the country. There's no question.
Yes.
I'm not saying that, but I can't say that it would have been different. I'm not going to say that from this video. It would have been different. I can't say that about this officer.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. I
have another video. I think it's a little bit more of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, of course. Come on, let's go, brother. Let me know when you're ready. I'm sorry. Okay. Dr. Corda is back. She's back. Good. Okay, Doc. Right now, just to bring you up to speed, Doc, we're talking about Gabby Puedo. I'm pronouncing the name. I'm tearing the shit up, whatever it is. Rest in peace for her family. But the bottom line is that the elephant in the room that we were saying is, if she was a black woman, would these officers made her arrest? That's what Kevin and I was having a conversation about. Would they have made arrest? And then what has been asked to me before the show is that do I feel that these officers dropped the ball? If she was black, they were the black couple. Would he have been arrested, and she might have been alive? I asked Kevin this question. He's not willing to say that's what he feels. Let me just read some comments before we go to the video that we're going to show. Cheryl said, Vaughn Jelani, he's been missing for more than 3 weeks. Where's the coverage for him? Absolutely. That's what Malika sent me. We're going to talk about him too. Cheryl said, no question, Bill definitely would have been handled differently had they been of color. Shout out. I see you, Earl, in the building. Evelyn said he was scratched. Abusers punch body and head. I've been there. Vera said, I love the last name, Vera. I always got to tease you about that. Foster. Vera Foster said, they could have taken her to the ER to deal with her mental health issues. Shout out to my man, my brother Norman Davis, my college basketball brother. He said it should have been a mutual combat. Paula in the building. Hey, she says, hey, everybody. Norman said, we are still black in blue uniform. Absolutely. Lynn Woody in the building. Norman said they dropped and kicked it anyway. Okay, Doc, we're going to show this video. I want you, when we come back, I want your thoughts on this. Ready, Kev?
Ready.
Sounds big. Bravo, Romeo, India, Alpha, November. And then what? The reaction was to do what? It's going to be out of Florida. He was drafted. Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying he hit you. I understand if he hit you, but we want to be actually hit you. Because, you know, where did he hit you? Hang on. What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
Gabby, Brian. Okay. What's going on with you and Brian?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were here camping yesterday, and camping got the supplies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just one last one.
Yeah, I don't know. It just some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and cleaning up back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I can get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. I just I guess my vibe is you're like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job. Okay. I was a nutritionist. That's my job. Cool. And I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. So I've been building my website, so I've been really stressed, and he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it. So that's kind of been like I don't know, he's like I don't know, we've just been fighting all morning, and he would have me in the car before. And
why wouldn't you let you in the car? Because you're OCD?
Told me I need to calm down. Yeah. But I'm perfectly calm. I'm calm all the time, and he really stresses me out, and this is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right.
The Sears gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her. So, I locked the car and I left the wake on her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to set up her own little website blog and everything. So I gave her time. We really had a nice morning, and if anything, but she just woke up as we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go Arches or something like that.
You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand. That's why I was pushing her away, because she wanted me. I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute. She woke up, and then she had her phone trying to get the keys, which was that way. I was just trying to I know I shouldn't push, but I just trying to push her way to go. Let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And you see, she got me with her phone. Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here. Oh, that's from the wire. That's from the wire? Yeah. You want to tell me about hitting that curve? Hitting the curve was her grabbing the wheel. She grabbed the wheel? Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and then she grabbed the wheel.
Yeah. This is a very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens next. But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do? What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop talking.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to enter it. It's your call. It's 100% your call. I support you either way. I'll let you get back to your own parents, okay?
Oh my God. Kevin, if you can pull up John Walsh's comments.
Tax loophole that's giving New York homeowners the chance to drop their electric bills down to zero, which means some homeowners.
You might have to mute that, but I want to pull up John Walsh was on Good Morning America, and he had feelings on this thing, and I want you personally to hear this. Doc, yeah. I'm going to come to you and ask you your personal feelings from a medical standpoint, and from just a woman, of course, a woman first, a doctor, and also too, do you think if this was a black woman, do you think that he would have been arrested? Listen, let's all deal with the facts. That he has scratches. There is violence, right, Kevin?
If she had those injuries, he would have went to jail.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking you. Did the cops?
That's a different question, but yes. Now listening to that whole thing, if she had those injuries, he would have got locked up. And you saw the cop was on the fence. Right? It sounded like it was the supervisor. He asked, "What was your intent?" All right, so it must be something in their law with a minor injury. The intent matters. If her intent was to hurt him, then if she would have said yes, they would have locked her up. Right, that was that intent question. But he walked away saying, "I'll support you whichever way you go with this." So he left it to the patrol cops' discretion.
But also too that she also talked about a mental part of her mind. What did she say? She said,
She's OCD, and that's not. There was nothing in there that said she was a threat to herself or others. Right, that's where we have to do something. Never once did she say, "I'm going to hurt myself. I want to die. I'm going to kill him." None of that. So mental part, there's zero to do here.
Okay.
I will go with, and we all do this. A lot of us, not we all. A lot of us do this as cops. We're a little bit sexist. We're more into we have a harder time arresting the woman in domestic than we do a man.
Yeah. Okay. Let me read some comments, and then Doc, I want your thoughts on this whole thing.
1 minute break. Put my kids to bed.
Yeah. Go ahead. You do that, and I'll talk to the doctor and the audience. D. Rodriguez said, again, if it was one of our black or brown and the woman was seen in distress, a report would have been made. Domestic dispute care would have been care would have been searched, and it was so obvious that she was making up excuses for him. It was clear that she was dealing with some type of trauma. Then suddenly she disappears. In New York, a woman or male with visible bruises is not able to simply walk away, and definitely will not be able to drop charges. All those questions, no one slapping another person is nothing but violence. Absolutely. Lamont, I'm not an officer, but I'm sure if the officer asked the right question, Norm is prior law enforcement. If I was a black man, he would have been locked up. Absolutely. Evelyn, correction. I wouldn't call the cops if my ex-husband, because I'm scratched him in defense. Lamont, protocols. I think more could have been done. Evelyn, if he was white, Norman, they should have locked her up in or in end of it. D Rodriguez, the girl couldn't even stop trembling, not crying. Exactly. Lamont, it's obvious if her boyfriend was Melon, rich black man, they would have found him in a hole in Siberia. Worldwide manhunt would be enforced. Why were the police called? Because a woman called them. Doc, if you're there with me, unmute yourself. Give me your thoughts on or what you saw and what you're feeling. Doc, you with me? Hold on. I'm trying to get the Doc back in. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti, and my lovely wife, Malika Forster, in the background. We got Dr. Marilyn Corder in tonight. She's hanging with us. This is just Real Talk, and we chopping it up, of course, with Kevin Branzetti. We're trying to get the Doc. Let me text. Can you text her, or I'll text her and see, tell her to chime in with us real quick. Kev, I know you're dealing. Are you back, or are you dealing with the kids? The story is truly unbelievable.
You know, a lot of times people don't say because I'm trying to protect the other person. Like one of your people who wrote in and said she was obviously very distraught. You know, it just doesn't sound like the whole story was being told.
Yeah.
And you know, today it came out that someone saw him hitting her. Why she didn't mention that, I don't know why.
Did everybody? Did you hear what Malika said? Can you just reiterate that real quick, sweetie?
I was just saying she obviously was having some kind of a mental problem. I mean, we could all see that, and nobody knows what was going on before they stopped her. You know,
right?
And I just feel like the whole story wasn't told. We don't know why, and we never will.
Right.
She's now dead, and he's hiding.
Yeah. And then like the people are saying that they feel like a lot of times if that, you know, like you said, Kevin, and we could talk about this, they feel like if they were people of color, due diligence would have been more. I mean, Kevin, I understand what you're saying from the court, the officer standpoint. They, you know, they tried to ask questions, but there's a difference in between. We know officers that want to make a collar and officers don't want to make a collar, and we know that if they felt like some, you know, a lot of times there's a difference. Everybody out here, please listen to me. Text mom, say she's with you. There's a difference for everybody. Let me just, Kevin and I can comment on it. There's a difference in personal feelings and absolute violations and protocols, or you have to make arrests. And D, I'm going to definitely, we're going to talk about that, you and Evelyn. A woman of color, it's a whole different story. Listen, we have a video that I sent Kevin that I want to show before we get out of here, that a black man right now is suing because officers pulled him over on a car stop. We're going to get to that. And then also some other things with that being said. But what we're trying to say is that, Kevin, and like I said, I need you to chime in with me on this. Or when I say chime in, give me your thoughts on this. Scratches, visible scratches. If
I was there, I showed up with every domestic as the sergeant. She goes to jail.
All right, and that's fine. And that's
I
fine.
have the policy of if I go to jail for it, you go to jail for it.
And that's all right.
And you know, I've had my guys locked up.
Yeah.
Men, women.
Did you hear what Malika said?
I'm just saying, who knows? But maybe she'd be alive today if they would have taken her to jail. I mean, just tell her to sleep in the van and sending him off to a hotel. I don't know.
I don't know if that. Sadly, I don't know. That might have just put him more. You know, like now he's even more control. He won and she went to jail. I don't know.
But he can't kill her in jail.
She's not staying in jail. She's going to jail for a few hours. She's not.
I understand that, but bottom line, maybe in jail that she can call. You know, because think about this: in jail, there's conversations. What's going on? What's happening? Maybe she might divulge. Oh, listen.
Yeah, maybe. Look, there's a whole mess of things, you know. But it wasn't. They questioned. Clearly, it's to me, it sounds like, and I don't know their protocol, right? We still build. You were going with NYPD, New York State protocol.
Right.
It sounds like from the supervisor was there. He asked the questions that it was right on the edge. Do you ever ask? The perp in the case, you don't ask what their intent was and go with that. Like you kind of got to go with what you know and what you believe.
Right.
But it was on the edge, and I'm still going to go with this is more about sex than race. It's hard for us guys to lock up a woman. I couldn't write moving violations to women. I just didn't do it.
Okay, and I understand that. I mean, listen. I think maybe Kevin. Will you think that maybe you might be the exception to the rule? Like you said, you have a problem doing things with you might be writing women or something like that. Maybe you didn't see color. Maybe that's why you're on Real Talk and a lot of other white officers are not in the past. You know what I'm saying? That I've worked with, because I've extended this olive branch to a lot of people. But so maybe what you don't do or won't see or you can't see doesn't mean, and not that you're naive to it, and I would never want to paint that picture, but maybe the fact that it is. Tell me about that wall that you see. Tell us we said hi. That wall that maybe that wall that we that's the little sweat, that's the little Branzetti,
little stats.
Little stats that causes maybe I don't see it due to professionalism, blue, and I wouldn't do it. Elaborate on that. Why I go back to read some of these comments that are here.
I can't say whether I'm the exception to the rule or I am the rule. Right? I only know a certain amount of cops. I don't know the 800,000. Right. I'll just never, like even in this case, right? I'll never go into that the cop would have done something different if the couple was black, because I have nothing to show that this cop has a racist or a biased bone in him. Now, statistically across the country, is there a better chance?
Hold on, let me ask you a question. When you say that,
I've never denied that, Bill. I've talked about, you and I, we could always do that one. I'd love to do the test of you and I driving 80 miles an hour across the country and getting pulled over.
Right.
Amount of times, and see how many of us got, verbal lashings and summonses and how many did I not get, kind of thing. Right. I don't deny that the odds are in my favor. I'm just saying it's not an absolute that every single time it would be different because of race. That I'm not buying into.
I got you. I just wanted to ask that question. I just wanted to read some of the comments that are in everybody's real.
I sent you an article today. The white guy who's locked up, he's got like a $50,000 bail for stealing 40-something cents on a soda.
Yeah, 43 cents, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a white guy, right? Like, 40-something cents, and it was 2 for $3 was the soda. He didn't realize that for one, it was $2.15 or something stupid plus tax. He dropped $2 and walked out. They locked him up, and they're holding him on bail on the 3 strikes law. I mean, are you out of your mind?
Right.
Like, for clearly, like you could tell the guy. It's not unreasonable to say it's 2 for $3. I dropped $2 for one. Mm-hmm. That and I ran out because I didn't want to wait. That I probably overpaid.
Right.
Charge the guy with a crime is unimaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when I found the article, I didn't expect the guy to be a white guy. I honestly thought in the end it would have turned out to be a black guy. But then you look at his history. There's 2 other crimes. They're petty crimes like that, and they're looking to hit him with a 3 strikes thing. The guy didn't do anything. I don't even think he committed a crime.
Right.
I think it's a clear mistake. If he would have just took the thing and walked out, all right, that's a crime. Fine, it's still $2. But we're charging.
It's obvious that you have discretion where certain officers don't have discretion, and that's where the powers that be of people of color are not afforded to us, because common sense and ethnicity sometimes don't go hand in hand. Maybe somebody like yourself comes along and you see that situation and you'll be like, oh, come on, man, that's bullshit. I'm not arresting a person. And you see the key words I'm saying. You're saying I'm not arresting a person for that bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? But there's another officer, the first thing they may say is that, yo, you're black and you should have known better. Because the bottom line is, you and I understand that that's a mentality in law enforcement.
That, and some cops are just robots. Like they can't see. They only see. This cop was probably a robot.
I will never co-sign that. What I will co-sign is black and white. Because a robot to me is that you're gonna lock up a little white girl for not paying the same price. That's not happening. I've never seen it.
I just sent you the article on the white guy getting locked up for 40-something cents.
Yeah, but
that cop had to be a robot. Like, that's common sense. That the guy, he left $2. Right? He didn't steal it. He underpaid. He didn't realize that 2 for $3 meant it was $2.50 for one. And mathematically, I wouldn't have thought that either. But
yeah, one story out of 1,000 doesn't make it right. You understand what I'm saying? No. So yeah, you did find that, and that's touche. But that's one, and if that's your argument, and I'm not saying that that's your argument, but if that's your argument that, okay, look, I got one to show you that this is what's happening, then it's a mute point.
That's just one. I wasn't even looking. I was just reading the paper.
No, I'm not saying you were looking. No, I'm not saying you were looking. I wasn't trying to say you was looking to make a point. Yeah. I'm just saying that when you just said that, it was trying to validate
my statement to this has always been that, going into the missing persons, and I want to show this other stats on that, because it is
show the stats while I read the.
And I put this website in the chat, and we should all take a look at it. It's a Black and Missing Foundation, which is trying to highlight.
Hold on, before we go there, I just want to read some comments and statements. Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. Vanetta Harris, I see you. She said, "Hey, Vanetta, I apologize. I wasn't looking at YouTube." She said, "Hey, gentlemen, still in Facebook jail." Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. She also says that black people, we never give the benefit of a doubt. Absolutely. Kevin, I just want to read some of the comments. There's so much stuff going on, as you see. Donnie Roth in the building, one of the best sergeants I ever worked for. My man, my brother. Donnie, I made that layup. You didn't call that foul on the other guy. I remember when you was referring. No, I'm just saying. I'm just playing. Donnie used to ref also, and I played in the league. So let me go back to some of the comments that we have right here. Let me see. D. Rodriguez said, "Why were the police called?" She said, "Right. Why suddenly is this disregarded?" Stefania said, "The story is truly unbelievable." She also said his parents helped him disappear. We totally agree. She also says he probably is in Guatemala right now. Eunice Collins said, "This is something that we don't know about this." Stefania also says, "What kind of parents are they? Just horrible." Evelyn also says, "When I decided to not fight him and allow him to hit me without retaliation, I doubted by the cops. He had punched me on the head and ears. She could have been alive today if they didn't choose to coddle a white man." I'm sorry to hear that you went through that, Evelyn. I really am. And I understand. Please enlighten me on, are you able to disconnect from your personal to this situation, or does your personal give you insight to this situation? And I say that with all humility. D. Rodriguez also says, "They were not skilled, trained to do counseling session. He was bruised and he confirmed that she hit him. She shouldn't have been interrogated more. The car wasn't even scratched, and they would done. The car wasn't even scratched, as they would done with a black man driving. Lamont said, "What parent would give up their kids?" Norman also said, he said, "I know the different states have different laws, but here in North Carolina, it would have been a mutual combat and both get arrested." Evelyn also said, "I was questioned by the cops. I had to emphasize my irritated ear." Was on. What's up? What's up, Miss Green? I see you. Stefania said, "Lamont, if my kid is a killer, I'm turning him in." Also, she said he would have to at the very least answer questions. Where is your fiance? D. Rodriguez said, "Right. They were not skilled to deal with a domestic violence situation." Evelyn said, "White privilege backfired for all involved." Kevin, that's a good question. I want to know what you think about that. There's more to this. I hope, Lamont said, "There's more to this. I hope the family is peace for this." D. Rodriguez said, at the precinct, they may have gotten more information. Norm said, "Bill, the Border Patrol in Texas lost their mind treating men and women like animals." I totally agree with that, Norm. We discussed that crazy in the past. D. Rodriguez said, "Then he should not be policing because women can be criminals." Norman said, "Race plays a big part on everyday life." Evelyn also says, "New York City police didn't believe my black ass at first. The French guy was given benefit of doubt first. Reason why when I defended myself and heard him calling the cops was a no for me." D. Rodriguez says, "It's a natural for them to treat white folks differently for us. They are privileged." Lamont said, "If your son," oh, he's talking about, I'm trying to find out who he was replying to. He said, "If your son shows up with scratches on his face, told you his wife was in danger, would you still turn him in?" I think he's talking to Stefania. She said, "I saw that Kevin Branzetti. He's been sentenced to 7 years." Stefania also said he's homeless. I guess I don't know if the homeless thing plays a part in it. It probably does. D. Rodriguez says, "But who got him locked up? The owner of the store, I'm sure, wasn't black or brown." Good point. Norm Davis said the officers need to be retrained and officers are overworked and short-staffed. Evelyn also said domestic abuse is textbook. Let's get that straight. No boundaries in this. Donnie Roth is watching. I said hi to you. Stefania also said, "Lamont, I would ask to speak to his fiance and proceed from there. Once he says that he's left her stranded in the forest or that he killed her, he has to talk to the police. Scratches don't equate homicide." Evelyn also said, "My ex-husband knew that by striking me, I'd retaliate. He wanted me in trouble. There's a big part of me that's sure that even undocumented white man knew that he would get away with being abusive." Lamont said, "Oh no, I'm not just justifying murder. All I'm saying is that if the parents is hiding him or assisting his disappearance, I'm not surprised." Well, we definitely, I'm going to go on a record and say the parents know they hiding him. I don't know if they know exactly where he is right now, but they hide his little ass. And let me tell you, let me just say this for first and foremost, like D. Rodriguez and anybody else out there that's thinking, if this was a black person, it would have been handled differently. I personally feel that way. It's a shame that a life has been lost. And it's almost a shame that the fact that we have to piggyback this on top of this. Kevin, show your stats that what you want to show us right now. Go ahead. You're muted.
Got it. So I did a little digging today on, there's got to be something out there on what we've been talking about. The Black and Missing Foundation is what I found. And I said I threw this in the chat. It's worth looking at. I don't actually like that they put white and Hispanic together with the 59%.
Right.
One second, my kids are fighting.
That's all right. Kevin has some stats, everybody. I don't know, Dr. Quarter, if you're in the building, let me know. But if you are, you there, Doc? Anyway, everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Kevin Branzetti, and my other co-host, Dr. Marilyn Quarters, in the building. With that being said, because she's a doctor, please look at the numbers. 2,000 people a day are dying from COVID. This is not the time that we want to talk about that situation, but just to bring it to your ear. I'm not telling you to be vaccinated, but I'm just telling you to be careful. And with that being said, Kevin is back.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's all right. We got to deal with the little elephants in the room. Go ahead.
So, statistically, you look at how many, right? Nearly 40% of missings are people of color. Yet you're 13% of the population. So that's a high stat. Right? But you don't see. I don't see anything in here talking about the stats on how much the media portrays these things. But to me, it's all obvious. You just don't see these cases on the media.
But let me ask you a question, Kevin. I think you agree, and I think we all agree. If this was a black woman missing, would this even make
know about
news?
it? We wouldn't know about it.
We
Wouldn't know she existed. There's not a question in my mind that we wouldn't. It doesn't matter. I don't know why it is this way, but this is the way it is.
Well, let me ask you a question. We can talk about why it's this way. Do you just think that there's just racism in media and all around the board? I mean, racism is prevalent all the way. Like we know that black women are missing. People of color, black and brown women are missing, but they're not even making the news. I know this personally from the people that I still have affiliates with within law enforcement agencies. They're not. This is not making the news. It's so hard for people of color to get publicized like this. What's your thought on this?
Call your media stations and complain. Right? I think somebody mentioned it earlier. Like Fox Channel 5 did something on it this morning, and that's actually how I found this foundation. Look, media thinks this is what sells, so they go with it. Right? They have a playbook. They're not here to. Their job isn't to just help spread the news. Their job is to make money, and in their playbook, pretty blonde girl sells.
Right.
We're going to fall and watch that, and we're not going to care about her. We're not. She's not pretty enough to make the news. And so, how do you change that? Call them out.
Absolutely.
Call them out. Right? Because I don't know if anything is more obvious. Besides. Hollywood's treating of actors and actresses, the media's treating of missings and murdered. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm trying to send you something. Go ahead. Keep talking, Kevin. Please.
We've talked about it for a long time, and we see it. And the only way to change things, you got to scream, and you should scream at these news media outlets that they're racist. And that is a phrase they don't want to hear, right? That scares everybody, but it's true. All right? It doesn't take long to I can Google search any media outlet for missings and just go through the last 6 months, and I'll show it to you.
All right. I just sent you something to your email.
Okay.
To your email. I want you to show that. And then we're going to move on to some other stuff, because the bottom line is the elephant in the room for everybody. Shout out to Darren Joseph in the building. I think a lot of times, people of color, and it's almost like being insensitive to a certain degree, that the fact that people of color have to mention Latins, blacks, whomever, have to mention that the fact that, yo, if this was a woman of color, you know, it's hard to show sympathy. But the thing is, in the next breath was like, yo, if that was a black woman, I wouldn't hear anything about it. And you know, color, race, and stuff right now is everything. Every conversation is what we're talking about right now.
The media, Hollywood, right? They've been racist for years, and we allow it.
Yeah,
like there are plenty of movies completely all white. They're all white worlds. They're all, you know, like
yeah.
I have to
tell them I say hi.
bedtime, right?
So listen,
the media's been this way for a long time.
I think I got some other people chiming in. I don't know who that is. I don't know who.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I got you, cuz. I got you. So,
I've been on 5 phones. I'm trying to get in. You know, it was like a kid who didn't know the answer, and I'm raising my hand. I'm trying to talk, and it's like I can't get in.
I know. Listen, let me ask you a question, but before Kevin comes back with the video, do you think that if she was a black woman, that situation, Gabby Quito, do you think it would have been handled differently?
Let me tell you. We're like, I don't even know if we even equate to animals or less than that, because some people would rev their animals much better than somebody, a black woman missing. For sure. There are so many, and Kev brought up a good point. There are so many missing black youth, black women, etc. It's like, oh, well, just another black life, whatever. And I'm going to say this first, so that's a fact. I'm about to do my show on missing youth, you know, of color, because it's just like whatever. And, you know, even when the parents call, they're like, okay, well, how long has she been gone? You sure she's not doing this? Does she do this often? By that time, the child is somewhere dead in the woods, or, you know, under some bridge, etc. Unfortunately, we know that if this was a case of, if those young people were black, they both would have gone to jail. At least he would have gone to jail. And maybe, you know what, in this case, I'll say this. Racism may have saved their lives, or the young lady's life, but it's so sad because I feel bad for the family. Certainly, I do.
Absolutely.
I feel bad for the family. I'm upset with the boy's family because I think that he did it, and then they know it, and then he's got issues, and even if he pleads whatever, mentally unstable, they need to turn him in. And I know.
Absolutely.
But come on, guys, right is right and wrong is wrong. But,
absolutely. Doc, let me ask you a question. I don't know if you were able, you saw the video of the clip that we showed where the officers were interviewing her? I don't know if you missed it, if you saw it. Because the bottom line is, I wanted to ask you that from a psychological standpoint, a mental aspect, because it's obviously she was crying, she was upset. She talked about him giving scratches, and you know, we understand. Like, listen, like I said, if that was a black situation and somebody talking about some scratches and shit, they going to jail. You know what I'm saying? And then Kev does also. You do a lot of work with missing, right, Kevin? Is that what it is? Yeah. Tell a doctor what you do, because she just mentioned that real quick.
So my other life, right, is I am a co-founder of the National Child Protection Task Force, and we are a group of law enforcement and private sector professionals that help law enforcement across the country and truthfully around the world at this point with missing, exploited, and trafficked kid cases.
Wow.
So we're on call 24/7. Any police department needs help. You know, and a lot of these are 14-year-old girl meets a creepy guy online and she disappears with him. All right, we get a lot of 50-year-old guy
portraying like a young person, right?
Yeah, yep. And you know, the first time you have to track one, you don't. You know, we've tracked so many, we just become very good at it, and so we help with those.
Wow.
So
we need 10 of you, Kevin. We need hundreds of you.
I bring an army of people, and that's the whole trick, right? It ain't me. It's getting people together, and it's getting the army to act. And everybody's a volunteer, right? There's not a single one of us who gets paid a dollar. We just do it because
So we're going to go to this video right now, and before we go to some other topics real quick, Kevin, what's this right now? You're going to. I wanted to show you this. Is what I sent. I wanted the lady. Basically, this video is about I forgot who she is. You'll see her name, and she basically talks about the fact that women of color are missing, and nobody really kind of cares. Nobody says shit. And Kevin has said this before. I've said this before, and like I said, Doc. It's a shame that we have to, even on the cusp of this. It's also happened with the young lady in Staten Island, that she was the firefighter's daughter. She was jogging and she became missing, and it became a big thing. But the bottom line,
Queens, yeah,
Queens. But it's a shame that, like she articulated earlier. I don't know if she says it on this clip, Malika, right? I don't know if she says on this clip, but she articulated. She says, "Listen, white women have been held to Snow White status and goddess status. So when something happens to a white woman, everybody gets in a frenzy. But when it happens to a woman of color, it's like it's everyday news." So Kev, let's play this clip right now. Doc, I want you to take on this when we come back.
Gabby,
go ahead.
22 years old, white female, reported missing. Immediately, police sprang into action to throw in all of their resources to search for her, to investigate, and the media splattered her face in the story in headlines around the world. At the same time, there are thousands of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, thousands of unsolved cases, thousands of young women and girls that have been murdered or taken and have been shoved aside. First off, violence against anybody is unacceptable, and perpetrators of violence should be brought to justice. However, we live in a world where justice is grossly unequal. In the case of Gabby Petito, 22 years old, white female, reported missing. Immediately, police sprang into action to throw in all of their resources to search for her, to investigate, and the media splattered her face and the story in headlines around the world. They are not seen as a priority. There's little to no media attention. And we have this one young white woman, and the world goes crazy. And it looks like, they're closing in on, whoever did this to her. God bless her. She didn't deserve this. And I'm glad that these resources were deployed for her. But I cannot help but notice the inequality and the injustice of our justice systems and the racism against specifically this genocide against Native American women and girls.
Yo, if y'all can hear me, how the hell do you go on a cross-country trip and you would turn home without my daughter? I'd have bust his ass as soon as he came to my door. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing is, the family's in Long Island, right? Her family, and he's in Florida.
Listen, I'd have went to Florida. I know how to fly coach and first class. I'd have got that ass. First and foremost,
no
listen.
question.
No, Kevin, you have a daughter.
I got more than one. Yeah, Bill,
exactly. And you're a hiker. Come on, and Marilyn has a daughter. We have a son. Whoever's out here has a child. You go. My daughter goes away with her boyfriend, fiance, whomever, common law living person, and you come back without her. Well, you know what?
They are not
talk, and I can't even say what anything else. Kevin, we're gonna close this out. Doc, what's your thoughts on what she was talking about? I mean, you agree, disagree? The bottom line is, it's just sad what we're dealing with right now, and it's just sad that the fact that we even have to bring race in the situation. But we need the powers that be to not let race be a problem in this situation. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, can you hear?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Okay.
It's all good.
You know, that video spoke a lot, and
we lost you when you come back.
And
okay,
it's truly racist. Can you hear me? Hello.
We got you, Doc. We got you.
Okay. So
no, and first, let me just say I appreciate you chiming in. I know you're so busy, and I love you, and I appreciate you being with your little cuz. It means the world to me. So thank you. And so, anything that you share, but I knew this was a topic that you wouldn't want to discuss because I know how you get down. So I wanted to bring you in on this. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's just on the same topic. All I can just say is I feel for the mothers and the fathers who have lost their daughters in silence.
Right.
And I'm just going to stop at that, in silence, because they didn't have all of the resources, as she said, that was deployed to them, for them. And that one life is not better than another life. All lives are the same. All lives are equal. All lives matter. And with Kevin, with the traffic, as he talked about, we're seeing a lot of human trafficking, even more. We're seeing a lot of violence, domestic violence. This pandemic has increased not only divorces, but domestic violence. And unfortunately, lots of the women, the victims, mostly women, but they could be men too. Most of the victims don't have a way out. They don't have a job. They don't see a way out, where they may have had a way out as they saw it before the pandemic. So we're seeing more increase. I'm seeing it in my practice. And, we're calling Child and Family Services. They're overworked, overwhelmed as well. So it is not over. So please, if you, take anything away from this conversation, make sure you are tuned. Make sure you're understanding that people are so stressed, and look for the signs of domestic violence, from spouses to significant others, even down to children, and try to protect your children as schools have opened up to violence as well as human trafficking.
Hey Doc, maybe on one of your segments, you can get somebody that can talk about domestic violence or the psychological aspect of trauma when it comes to that, or even yourself if you want to converse about that. I know you're worldly, so when your show comes up, you can do that. And a lot of times, what I'm going to start doing in the future is intertwining the hosts on each other's shows, so we can just discuss certain things, and that we can do this thing, because it is important that we bring attention. Sometimes certain things can intertwine with each other. Racism, psychological profiling, trauma of domestic violence. A lot of these things play a part in what's happening. Kev, you said this before. I think I know there's another topic I want to talk about in Oregon, but I don't think we're going to have enough time to really get into that before 9 o'clock. But the thing is, in Oregon, a teacher, was it a teacher, Malika? I think it was a teacher that he went to school. He was anti-vaccine. So he was so anti-vaccine, he was disgusted that Doc, mute yourself. I think mute yourself, Doc. Oh, okay. I can mute you. Hold on. No, it's all good. I just want to hit the sound effects. So what he did, he was so anti-vaccine that he went to school in a Rosa Parks mask or face. The face in the Rosa Parks mask. And also too, in Oregon, they wanted to they did something where they were trying to talk about auctioning off their classmates as slaves. That's something that we're going to discuss. You know what's so funny? Racism is so prevalent. It is so sad that it is such a topic that we have to still discuss in 2020 fucking one. It really is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Kev, give me your insight on it. I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm when we talk black and white, we talking facts and fiction. Malika will tell you when we talk about things, she'll be like, even when we just talk about something and if we start getting into it, she'll be like, oh, you want to give facts and stuff like that. I deal with facts. It is who I am. I mean, life is what it is. I say,
do my voice again.
But I'm just saying that it's a shame. And Doc, you and Kev can talk about this. We'll segue out, but Doc, you're always welcome to come back on any show.
And I will. I hope you can still hear me. But I'll tell you what, because my phone is like really dying. But it's worse, and that happened in the DMV. That was just our neighbors in Virginia here. But unfortunately, I think between the stress and of course the allowing of racism for the 4 years of the previous presidency, it's still there. It's not getting any better. And we need to address it and talk about it as we should be doing. So the next generation, and there are folks who are armed up, and we're going to take over, just like this past Saturday in DC. It's like justice for the insurrection, or what they want to call it. They call it patriots. But
ain't that something? Exactly. It was, and Doc, it was a joke. What's so funny? It's a sad that the situation that they even had some shit like that. But the bottom line is because now this is when our constitutional amendment rights come into play. Doc, I know you're about to get out of here. Like I said, your show is the second Monday of every month. We're not even talking. We'll deal with other elephants in that room. But talk about your radio show, because I knew that you would want to talk about this topic tonight, and that's why I sent this to you. And I wanted you to be a part of this, because you're so much more than the medical woman that you are, the avant that you are, and I wanted you to be a part of this conversation. So just tell them where they can hear you at on Saturdays, and I'll see you soon. I love you. Go ahead.
Every Saturday, 3 to 4 Eastern Time, WOL Radio 1, WOL 1450 AM. And that's every Saturday live. I'm also tomorrow be on BNC Black News Channel talking about childhood obesity that we saw a good 30% increase through the pandemic. So we're seeing hypertension and diabetes, especially among black and brown children. Do we ever get a break? On that note, I'm dropping the mic. Good evening to everyone. Thank you guys for allowing me to give a little bit of my 2 cents.
This part of your show, exactly. Love you. I see you, cuz. Kev, we got so much to talk about, brother. Like, we need 3 shows in a row, because the things that we try to touch so many different topics tonight. But the bottom line is, I don't want to go so far past what we are as 9 o'clock. And the thing is, we want to talk about so many different other things, and we'll come back and get it. The beautiful thing about it is that you and I and Chuck are here every Wednesday, so we can discuss certain things. We're going to talk about the Oregon situation. Hopefully this thing will grow some ears, and we'll be able to find out what's happening with Haiti, Afghanistan, and so many other things. Kev, man, just give us some. Just shout out to everybody that's chiming in late. Darren Joseph also said the father of that girl should have been camped out at that boyfriend's home. Absolutely. Stefania said, well, remember, her family didn't know she was missing until September 10th. He was texting them from her phone, pretending to be her. That's fucking crazy. That's psychological. This will be on some America's Most Wanted shit later on. You know, Stefani also said at once they were aware that she was missing, he stopped communicating with them and lawyered up. I see you, Harold Freeman, Tommy Finlayson, Uptown. Evelyn I see you, Evelyn. Kev, before we get out of here, give me some positive information, affirmation, man. Some thoughts about the show, the conversation, positive affirmation before we get out of here, brother.
Look, there's a lot of stuff going on out there. We talked about it a few times today. You know,
right.
You can make a difference on a small level, large level. Call your congressman, complain. Call your news media outlet, complain to them. You know, your voice should be heard. That's how things change. You know, we could sit here and you can have the conversations in pubs and your friend's house and, you know, yell in your living room. But you could just take it up a little bit of a notch and you can make a difference. It does work.
Right. Thank you, brother. Malika, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Great show.
Thank you. Appreciate everybody. Listen, stay true to yourself. Keep your eyes open. Leaders lead. Followers follow. You know what I'm saying? What are you? Pick your choice. It's all right. But either one is whom you are. Just understand that's when you pick that point in your life, then that's how you'll be treated. The 30th fundraise, meet and greet. Let's articulate it differently because social media sometimes gets different with me. On the 30th of this month, there's a meet, greet, and support, if you know what support means, for Eric Adams at Cecil's Steakhouse. I'll put the flyer up if you want to inbox me. Malik and I, along with my uncle and one other person, are putting this together for the hope Democratic hopeful. Come out, ask some questions, meet him, talk to him about some stuff. So that's the 30th of this month. Please,
6 to 9.
6 to 9, absolutely 6 to 9. Please, everybody, be careful. Rikers is off the chain. Kevin and I didn't talk about Rikers either. We didn't talk about this crime that's happening. It seemed like I haven't seen Kevin in like 7 months, even though it was just like a month. but please be careful. Take care of your families. Take care of yourself. COVID, these different variants are out of control. Want to see you, but I don't know if I'll see you. Respect Harold Thomas in the building. HT, the legendary detective in the building. Harold, we got to bring you on the show one night, man. But I know you living it up in the ATL. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. For Karen Branzetti, Malika Foster, I'm Bill Foster. We out of here. If you missed the show, go to YouTube and watch it, or go to my Facebook page and watch it. Thank you all that participated and showed some love. I appreciate you. Shout out to Dr. Marilyn Corder for coming in and being part of the dais for us. Kev, you good?
Good night, all.
Good night, all. Everybody, appreciate you. We out. Bye.